The following question is, which of the following arrangements is a list of correlation coefficients ordered from strongest to weakest? So again, we're dealing with strength here. The format of this question is a little different because what they've presented us with is 4 arrangements of a series of correlations, and we want to see which one ranks them from the strongest to the weakest. So we want to make sure we know the difference between strong and weak, remembering that the strength of the correlation relates to how close it is to the number 1 or negative 1. So 1 or negative 1. And the weakest is going to be closest to 0. And remember, strength, again, has nothing to do with direction. So I usually look through these and ignore anything with a negative, and then I just kind of rank them from there. It's the easiest way is to ignore those negatives and rank them as you go. So as we go through the following distributions, if you take a look here we have a negative 0.7, and here we have a positive 0.9. This 0.9 is definitely stronger than that negative 0.7 because it's closer to the number 1 than it is to the number negative 1. Or if you just get rid of that negative, you can see that the 9 is bigger than the 7. And that's probably the easiest way to handle these questions all the way through. And when you do that, you're basically going to have to come through it until you find, here's the one that starts with 0.9. Now it looks great, but here we have a 0.6, and there's that 0.7. So again, when you ignore the sign, you can see that 0.7 is bigger than 0.6. So that's a trap. That's out of the equation. That's out of the equation. There's no way we're going to be starting with a negative 0.2. We know that negative 0.2 is a 0.2. And this is the one that's probably ranking it from weakest all the way to strongest. This is the trap question right here. This is going to be our answer right here. 0.9, negative 0.7, 0.6, negative 0.5, 0.3, and negative 0.2. Again, if you ignore those signs, if you just get rid of those, you can see that that's closest to the number 1, next closest to the number 1, and all the way down it goes until it approaches 0. And that's the easiest way to take a look at arranging correlation coefficients.